Hey guys, Scott here, and today I want to talk about something that I think is the core issue with people being hostile in Dead by Daylight, and a big reason why the community can sometimes be perceived as kind of toxic. And I think that comes from a severe lack of understanding for the other side. Like, killers don't realize how shitty, like, solo queue for Survivor is, and survivors don't realize how shitty Survive with Friends, in a full pre-made is. Like, there are a lot of things that make people angry because they don't understand what the other side is going through, or they don't understand the perspective of why, some people do certain things. Like, for example, there are a lot of situations where camping is not camping and tunneling is not tunneling. For example, if there is a guy on a hook and another survivor is looping around the guy on the hook, the killer is not camping the guy on the hook. He's just chasing the idiot who's looping around his dying teammate. And they might all call the killer a camper there, and that's just not fair. That's the complete lack of empathy there. In that kind of situation, it's basically the survivor saying, you need to go into a corner and stand and wait for us to rescue and then come back. And the same thing goes for like tunneling too. I've had this scenario before where I'll have no one in a chase and someone will get unhooked and I'll just go back to the hook because there's nowhere else to go. And then the person that does the unhooking will hide and just fuck the other guy over because he's making sound. He can't hide. And then I go, well, shit, I got no one else to chase. Now I'm tunneling this guy, and I feel bad because the other teammate is hiding instead of taking, the aggro from me, which I will very happily go for the unhooker. But if you're hiding, there's no one else I can go for. And that's just a shitty situation. So these are the examples of things that I'm talking about that happen a lot. Another huge example is, like when all the gates are open, the killer is camping the last guy. Survivors will call him a camper. It's like, well, again, what is he supposed to do? There's no other options. If you're a wraith and the gates are open, unless you intentionally want to let them go, which is fine, by the way, that's totally a fair thing to do. There's no other options, and to expect that the killer is just going to let you go that's just entitled, and that's shitty. You shouldn't have a mindset like that. So that brings us to this streamer, who I'm going to use as an example. We're going to look at basically two clips. Actually, we're going to look at multiple clips from both sides. We're going to see it from his side and then my side, and then you'll see how the differing perspective can show you how what may be seen as tunneling or camping to him is just completely not even anything close to that when you're looking at my screen. And I'm hoping that by showing this, you will kind of start to see how it's not clear-cut what's happening, because you don't know exactly what's happening on the other side unless you're all in a four-man and you're all communicating exactly what's happening. So there's a lot of lack of understanding for the other sides, and I thought we would look at these clips to show you how things are definitely not as simple as they may appear just to your side. So I will admit I was a bit more hostile with my original intentions with this video. For a little bit of a backstory, this is a streamer I've gone against a couple of times in the past couple of days. Didn't tunnel, camp, or do anything like that, as you will see in the video. I will show you exactly where he called me out on that stuff. But, like he called me garbage and stuff, and this is whatever. It's just shit talking, like I said in my past videos. This whatever. It's just the internet. Shit happens. But then he started getting, like, more personal about it. Started, like, making shit up after only 2 games with me. Said this is all this streamer does. All he does is camp and tunnel every game. And I was like, all right, that's a little annoying. You're just making shit up about me, but whatever. Again, just whatever. It's fine. And then he just started getting, like, real personal, saying, like, I don't know how this garbage player has any viewers. At that point, I'm like, all right, what the fuck, man? You're making this super personal, and it's just weird. So, like, please stop. And then he just commented on my Steam profile saying shit. Like, please stop. I'm trying to not, like, shit talk you, man. Just please stop. And then he started commenting on my YouTube videos, and I was like, fuck it, all right, I'm just gonna make a video showing how much of an asshole this guy is. But as I started making it, I'm like, it's just not a mature thing to do. So instead of making a video where I just shit on the guy, because under fair use, technically, I can critique a Twitch clip without having to censor anything about him, as long as I don't slander or libel or anything like that. And I thought about doing that, but again, it's such a shitty thing to do. I don't want to be a shithead too. So instead, we're going to block everything about him and just look at the clips themselves to show you, the differing scenarios that you might run into, and how this is a perfect example of how to not act as a survivor. This is like as entitled as they come, and this is a perfect guide on basically do not be this guy.
No. And of course, I find the killer first.
Yeah, that's if you can see who it is, but I know you can't.
Couldn't see it.
Just auto-hated them. Oh, hello. What the? You're huge. I think it's the Oni. Yeah, it's the Oni.
I'm not peeking. Plus, it doesn't count because I'm on the hook anyways. I'm just seeing if I'm going to go into second phase.
Yeah, I'm coming. I'll be there in 2 seconds. Hoot and holler and I'll be there.
Uh-oh. What happened there?
Gotcha. I'm gonna heal you.
All right.
Best I can. Alright, she's in the basement. And he is no big. Okay, you might want to drop. I'll sacrifice myself for you.
Bullshit, that dude made it around that corner. Bullshit. I know, Oni, you cannot make that fucking turn like that. There's no fucking way you can make that turn. Because that's the car right there. There's no way. Even if he took that wide, no, there's no fucking way.
I have failed you.
Plus, I do enjoy how the this Oni is just tunneling off of hook. All right. Now he's picking me up because he knows that my decisive is worn off. And he's just playing scummy. Not anything you're gonna be able to do about it. Just let me die. He's just gonna tunnel back to hook anyways.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Unless you want some. Unless you want some points. I mean, then you can farm me. That's fine. But yeah, no, this guy is playing scummy anyways. So I'm not too worried about it. I mean, it's not even that. Like, the guy's just playing, just in general, the guy's playing scummy. He's got an overpowered champion and he still has to play it scummy. Hello, Switz. Hi. Or Switzies? Is it Switzy? I'm sorry that I missed that. I was blindfolded. Yeah, he's just playing scummy. There's nothing else to it.
Still gonna get you off. Can't go out like that.
Yeah, no, this game was absolute trash. I mean, like, it's not hard. All this guy's doing is just going back to hooks, which is not hard. Like, you just sit there and play the.
All right, now let's look at that game from the other side, and I'll tell you what I was thinking as the game was going. This is just when I hooked the guy for the first time. So the first thing I do usually is go towards wherever barbecue and chili is, which means they have to be at least 400 meters away, which means I can't possibly be camping at that point. So first thing I do is go pretty much across the map here. Also, I want to use Pop Goes the Weasel on something, so I go towards where I saw the survivor, take the generator, and start looking for the survivor. I immediately find them because they left scratches, and then they camp shack pallet, which breaks my heart. I get very upset with that. Yeah, then the chase just goes on normally. She burns her flashlight for a while. Then I swing at the window because I assume she goes there, and I actually down her while blind. MLG 420 Pro. And then I pick her up. This guy is still on the hook, and he just finally gets unhooked right now. So, according to him, I'm tunneling him right now, even though I'm hooking this guy after downing him with 2 hits. Now I use barbecue and chili. Those are the only 2 people I see on the map. There is nowhere else on the entire map for me to go other than face camp the guy in the basement. I intentionally go for the person that was not just on the hook to try to not tunnel them. Unfortunately, I'm Oni, and if I pick that guy up and basically ignore him right here, I just forego my power. That's just, you know, unfortunately how you have to play Oni. He's kind of a slug-heavy killer, so basically here, my only option was to, you know, slug and then go down the other person as well. The alternative was intentionally letting the other person go, which, I mean, you can do that if you want, but if you're a survivor player and you're expecting a killer to actually ignore you on purpose, then I don't know, man, you are just incredibly entitled. I understand going out of your way to tunnel and camp, that's kind of shitty, but if you actually expect a killer to just completely ignore you, you are entitled as shit and you need to change your behavior. That's pretty bad. So I see another survivor running directly into me and they're injured. So instead of picking up the other person, obviously I'm going to go for this guy because, I mean, why would I not? He's running directly to unhook that guy. So obviously hooking this guy would be better. And I believe even right here, I say, I felt bad for the other Claudette who got downed immediately. And I think I said, let's let him pick him up. Rapid. Let that guy get picked up. Yeah, right there. I'd say, we'll let that guy get picked up. Because I felt bad. I actually felt bad right there because the Claudette was, you know, having a rough time. She hasn't gotten to do much. So I'll say, instead of, you know, I see what's happening over there. I saw that when Infectious Fright. Instead of going there and slugging this person, I get 59-second DS'd. That is what I get for not tunneling. This fucking game. Anyway, all right, whatever. She's gone. Now I'm going to go back here. And again, I see they're doing the same mistake. They're just healing in the middle of nowhere. Like, what the fuck do you expect me to do? Obviously, I don't have my power-ups. I can't one-shot the Nancy. I have to go for this person. Again, unless you're expecting me to intentionally ignore you on purpose, there's no other option for me to do there. And perhaps maybe don't repeatedly heal in the open multiple times and then complain that you go down easy. Like, I don't understand what you expect me to do differently in that situation. There is nothing even remotely close to tunneling or camping or anything like that. And I went far out of my way to actually let the Claudette get back up. Unfortunately, they took a while to get her back up, so by the time the other chase had finished, when I went back there, I mean, she was still on the ground, but then she got picked up and they saw me coming and they just healed in front of me. Not running, they just sat there and healed. Like, what the fuck do you expect me to do, man? There is no other option that I have other than on purpose ignore you. And again, if you expect me to do that, that is ridiculously entitled and you need to fucking stop. All right, here's another example featuring the same guy. He said I was camping this time, so here's the first hook of the game. Pretty much nothing has happened so far. I see those guys on barbecue and chili, go to reload. According to the streamer guy, I am now camping this person in the basement. The first thing I do is run to the other side of the map again, because I saw them with barbecue and chili. I am currently camping this guy in the basement. His VOD was muted, unfortunately, but that is what he said. He even said it again in post-game. I get a sweet shot, and they start running around the long side of the car wall. And as you know, as Huntress, running around this car wall in a straight line chase takes forever, because I'm a 110 killer, so I go back to the other side to cut them off, because this is obviously the way all three of them are coming. Here I see a locker, so I think I'll reload before I actually start chasing the people that are over here. All the while, I'm apparently still camping this guy in the basement. Now I see the only survivor that I see right now, and I just start chasing him. I have no other things to do right now, other than just run into a corner. I figure he's going to go 1-for-1, but then he starts looping around his dying teammate, which is always a really bad idea. And then I hit him, so I assume he'll leave. But then he goes to 1-for-1 after I've already injured him, which guarantees he's going to die. Like, I don't know what the play was there, but he was the first survivor I saw after pursuing other people, and that was the only thing I had to do. There's no other visible survivors. Like, there's no other options I have, again, other than to intentionally ignore him and let him run down right past me and save. It's not like I was near it, or I guess I was like within 20, 30 meters of it, because I mean, that's where they were. They were running into me from that corner. Everything in the map was taking place in that corner right there. So I was in the area of all three other survivors. There was nowhere else to go. To expect me to not be in the area where all three survivors are? You're just intentionally asking me to ignore you and just run into the corner of the map and just look at the ground or something. I can understand if, like, you know, I saw nobody on barbecue and chili there and then I hung around that area. That would be kind of scummy. But I saw the entire team on that generator. There was nowhere else for me to go. And then they just ran into me, not even trying to be stealthy about it. They just sprinted directly into me and expected me to ignore them, I guess, and then said that that was camping. Like, it just blows my fucking mind how people rationalize this shit. And because this portion of the VOD was muted, I have the post-game where it references what I was saying earlier just to prove I'm not really making shit up.
We've played against that guy yesterday, and he did the exact same thing. He just tunneled. He camped and tunneled. So I'm not surprised at all for just leaving out. Like, I'm not disappointed at all for leaving out. That guy's garbage. Like, that's all he does. Is just camp and tunnel off of Hook. So, not,
Oh, was he camping me?
Oh, yeah, he was camping you. Like, I couldn't even get down, into the basement, before he went for you. Or before he went for me. So
yeah, hopefully this was a decent example of how what you might see like as a survivor is not even remotely close to what's actually happening in the game. And sometimes you need to see it from both sides to realize how ridiculous you're kind of being. And don't get me wrong, it goes for the other side too. I just happen to play mostly Killer, so I happen to only have a clip from me playing Killer against the Survivor. It absolutely happens from Survivor vs. Killer as well. I'm not excluding that at all. I think just the moral of the story is people need to be more empathetic to what the other sides are going through, the other role, and I think that will result in a lot more hostility. As soon as you basically have the opinion that no matter what, the other side is there to make sure that you have a fun experience and you're entitled to that, and if they change from that, directive, then they're being a dick or like an asshole, that's just such a shitty entitled behavior to have. And I think that is one of the main core issues with why this community can be kind of toxic. And just think, as soon as we realize this and you watch clips like this and go, oh, that's ridiculous, maybe you can start to like self-reflect and realize, okay, maybe I need to kind of think about the other side a little bit more, and that would make the game overall, I think, a bit healthier. One thing I've also noted is that the people that are like super entitled, again, both sides, Killer and Survivor, people that are entitled to their 4Ks and entitled to their escapes, they always tend to be hypocrites, like massive hypocrites. They will call you garbage and trash and you're shit at the game for camping and tunneling, even when you don't do it. And then you will go back in their VOD one day and see them face camping with Plague for like a solid minute. And then you go back another game and they're just like trying to tunnel off the hook. They just do the exact shit that they're talking about. And that is just the complete lack of empathy for the other side. And hopefully this was a good case study of just the worst type of example and how ridiculous it is. And it's an example of how not to act. And the less people that act like this, I think the overall healthier the game will be. It'll be more understanding and not people fighting with each other. But that is it, guys. It goes without saying, obviously, if you find out who he is, don't go to his stream, don't go to any of his anything, and be a dick. That is obviously a shithead thing to do. I shouldn't even have to say that. I mean, he puts his name in his DBD name, so if you put your name like on your Twitch name on Steam and then you shit talk people on your stream, I feel like you kind of invite it a little bit. But that being said, still, if you find out, obviously, if you post it in my comments or my Twitch or his Twitch or anything, I will ban you from my YouTube and my Twitch and all that stuff. Don't be a shithead. That really should go without saying. But that is it, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I will see you next time. I said thank you very much for watching, but I'm keeping it in. Bye.